I'm in a bit of a situation and could use some advice. On New Year's Eve, my 41 male spouse, 40 female, we are common law, and I had my friend, John, and his wife, Jane, 40 female, over for dinner. John and I have known each other since high school. I've known Jane for about 8 years, just a bit longer than my spouse and I have been together. I was the best man at John's wedding to Jane about 3 years ago. We are all friends and see them probably once a month. We tend to do a couple's vacation once a year. John and Jane live about an hour's drive away from us. The plan was they were going to stay the night and head back in the morning. After midnight we all were fairly drunk and did some karaoke in the living room. John is not a night owl and went to bed in the guest suite probably around 2 a.m. My wife went to bed probably around 2:30 or 3 a.m. Jane and I stayed up. This is not unusual as Jane and I stay up late and both like to drink. We've had good talks during these times. Nothing flirty, just good discussions about life, etc. In any event, we sang a few more songs and had a bit more to drink. Jane got in close with me, started making more physical contact, which progressed to her cuddling up to me, briefly straddling me a couple of times, and making it fairly obvious that she wanted to have sex. I told her if we weren't each in committed relationships, I definitely would. She asked if we could at least make out. I told her no. I regret not immediately turning her away when things started to get physical and going straight to bed. I was fairly drunk myself and quite frankly was a little bit shocked/flattered. In any event, eventually I got up to use the washroom. When I come back, she's asleep on the couch. I wake her up and offer to take her to the guest suite. This is about 4 a.m. or so. I take her to the guest suite. She is clearly annoyed with me. She said something about me being stupid. The last thing I remember telling her is that I wasn't going to do the stupid thing and that is why she should go to bed. I then go upstairs to bed. Next morning at about 10 a.m. I get up. John and Jane are still there. All four of us, we watch a bit of TV. Things are a bit awkward between Jane and I, though it is clear my spouse and John don't suspect anything. Today my spouse tells me that Jane had been texting her and indicated that she was still hungover, and was thinking about quitting drinking for a year. We will see, but I think that indicates some level of regret. I'm in a happy marriage-like relationship and I love my spouse, but I'm not sure what to do. Do I tell my spouse or keep it to myself? I don't want to hurt anyone, but I also don't want to put my relationship at risk. I acknowledge I made a mistake in not shutting Jane down immediately. I thought about texting Jane to let her know that, as a friend, I support her decision to quit drinking because I care about both her and John. This would be a way of acknowledging what happened, that it was inappropriate, but without lording it over her. I don't think I should tell John, as people make mistakes in life. Any advice would be appreciated. Thanks. I don't know what kind of communication you have with your wife, but I couldn't keep that from my spouse. I would also trust my partner to work with me to decide what to do moving forward. Don't keep secrets from your wife. I think you should tell your wife. Secrets could be eventually dangerous. You don't tell, and Jane could tell if she gets drunk again or if they get into a disagreement and it could just come out. Jane could be embarrassed because you refused her sexual advances. Not because she puts the move on you. As for the texting, talk to your wife about it. Don't do it behind her back. Edit to add, you should also tell John because you just can't hang together the way you used to. You were tempted by her and wanted to be with her if you weren't with your partner. Eventually, if you still hang with them so closely, it could happen. You should tell your wife and John, because unfortunately you guys can't be friends anymore and they all deserve to know why. If you're telling us the truth, I don't see why you can't tell your wife the truth. When your wife finds out and you hid it from her, don't be surprised if you see divorce papers. I personally would tell my spouse, cause we tell each other everything and I trust him wholeheartedly. But I suppose you don't have to, since you did nothing wrong. This may be an unpopular opinion. But I think you should tell John though. I say this as someone who has been cheated on. Even though Jane was drunk, it still says a lot that she was trying to get you. If I were John, I would want to know, so that I can decide for myself how to deal with that rather than someone else deciding what's best for me to know, or not know. Yes, you should, because if somehow your woman finds out later it might end up bad wondering why you didn't tell her when it happened. Your spouse deserves to know what she's inviting into her house when she invites this woman over again. Not to mention the kind of snake she is maintaining a relationship with. If John had made moves on your SO, would you want to know? Tell her before dear Jane spins it and makes you out to be the instigator. So you love your common law wife, but told another woman who is married that if you weren't in relationship you would definitely be up for her. That is how you love your wife, is it? You need to tell her what happened because one of you will give it away soon anyway by continuing to act awkwardly. I feel sorry for your wife that she is so disposable to you after a few drinks. Whilst you say you are sorry and should have shut it down, it took you a while to do so, and frankly what you said was awful for your wife. Good luck with the conversation. And make sure you tell her everything, which we know you won't do, so she can make a full informed decision about what to do. Why would your wife not want to know this? She is to whom you owe a duty, not a drunk Jane can't keep her cooter cool. Wife may want to limit your contact with Jane. Maybe Jane needs real consequences to her drunken foolery. Or you can wait until Jane gets really pissed and throws you under the bus and shares how you had a major boner through this. Tell your wife and tell John that you'd shag Jane if you weren't common law married already. What a creep. Cheater spotted. LOL. Boy entertained this woman's advances up till the very end because he was flattered. Gosh. And that's what the wife has to deal with, a cheating homewrecker and a lying cheating husband. What a circus. Next story. I'm a 26 female, and I recently found out that my gay best friend 30 male has been using pictures of my child and I on social media to create the illusion that he has a girlfriend and baby. To give a little background, we have been close friends for years. When I found out that I was pregnant, he immediately volunteered to be the godfather, and because we've had such a positive friendship over the years, I agreed. Once my baby was born, I would send occasional holiday and milestone pictures to close friends and family. I never really felt comfortable posting my child on social media for privacy purposes. My child is now 2. A couple years ago, I noticed that my best friend used Facebook, but we weren't friends. I asked if he could add me, and his excuse was, "Oh, trust me, you wouldn't want to be friends with me on there. I post a bunch queer things." It was an odd reason to not want to be connected on social media, but I respected it anyway. Fast forward to present time, I've started to struggle financially and lost my home. My best friend offered my child and I to stay in his home until I was back on my feet. He would leave his laptop for me to apply to jobs or do whatever else I needed to do. One day I decided to check my Facebook on the laptop and noticed he was already logged in. Curiosity 1, I decided to check his photos he's uploaded since I never was allowed to be his friend on socials. To my surprise, I found a bunch of pictures of my kid and I. What was even more alarming is that he was claiming to be my child's father. From the very first day that my child was born. He even posted a birth announcement. His mom and family have been commenting under pictures of my kid, calling my child their grandbaby and family member. Which makes sense as to why every birthday and Christmas, his mom has been sending my child gifts. I thought she was just being thoughtful. But she is under the assumption that she's a grandmother. I've never personally met her or any of his relatives. He's also been posting fabricated statuses about us co-parenting. There's just so much more. I felt sick to my stomach and immediately started confiding to another close friend of mine. After I sent her screenshots, she was also in shock. She said she believes he is doing this to cover the fact that he's gay to his family. I personally never knew that he was a closeted gay because he's always been a very vibrant person since I've known him. But then again, I'm not sure how his personality is around his family because I never met them. So anyways, yes, I'm very disturbed. This entire time I thought I was protecting my child's privacy from social media when this friend has posted every single photo I've sent to family and close friends for the past 2 years claiming to be their dad. I would be so livid. I know that I would no longer trust him and would request that he take my child off of his social media as soon as I move out. You need to get out of there ASAP. Do whatever it takes to find another place to stay. This man is not your friend. He is an untrustworthy liar who is in quite a few countries committing a crime by posting these pictures online. You don't know who this person is, you only know who he is posing as in front of you. Meet with a lawyer or go to the police, whatever is applicable in your country. Take screenshots of everything so that you have proof in case he decides to erase the pictures. But yes, one of the goals should be to get the pictures taken down eventually. Outing someone is not okay, but what he did was so disgusting that you should at least tell his family the truth the moment you are safe and away from him. Hey, I just learned that all your lovely presents are because you think that X is the father of my child. I want you to know that this is a lie. I only recently learned about the fact that he has been lying on social media about that, and stolen pictures of me and my child without my consent. My child is not related to him at all, and I am cutting contact with him, as well as taking the appropriate measures to ensure justice is served. Thank you. I did bring this information to him yesterday and requested that he removes any and all pictures of my child and I from his socials. He seemed apologetic, but I know it's just because he was embarrassed that he was caught. Unfortunately, I have to still stay in his home while I'm making arrangements to move out, so I can't address his family now. But I will once my child and I are no longer living here. Because if his mom genuinely believes that this is her grandchild, I think she should know the truth. It does sound a lot like he might be very closeted and is using you and the baby as his cover. I think you need to confront him and discuss it. You may also want to make plans to move out as quickly as you can. His misrepresentations impact both you and your child, so do whatever you need to do to protect your little one. As a formerly single mom, unfortunately, they may be trying to claim some type of parenting time with your child. It happens. I had an ex who tried that. They were laughed out of court, but it happens. And you don't need that stress in your life. Do you have bio family you can count on? Maybe a sibling or cousin you can move in with. You won't be moving away from a job. You will be moving away from a monster-sized creep. This deserves a restraining order, but you should wait until you move out. The restraining order should include that they are not allowed to say or post anything about you or your child. I'm sorry, but what is your question? Do you want to salvage this relationship? Do you want to get advice on where to find housing? Do you want to confront him? Do you want to find the best way to scrap your child from the internet? Like, what are you looking to have happen? It seems your post is focused on his exposure of your child in the internet, more so than the double life he fabricated? Is my impression correct? Do you want to talk to his mom and tell her the truth about your child? I mean, can you even leave his home and go somewhere else? Do you feel unsafe?